and SAP MM module? What are the master data in SAP MM? What is P2P cycle like? What is the procurement to payment cycle? What are the basically like special business processes in SAP MM? What are the career options as a SAP MM consultant? And what are the chances of getting a job after taking a training from OCU? So, please next slide. So, what is SAP MM? SAP MM basically you know MM is the material management module, or we can known as a procure to pay also. You procure the goods from vendor, then you pay to the same vendor. So you can see like you can view like it's a procurement to pay cycle. You procure the goods from vendor. After delivering the goods by vendor, you pay them. Apart from procure to pay, it also includes the inventory management function, like how will you manage your inventory so that no shortfall will exist in the future. Slide is not coming on screen. Now we talk about MM module in a little bit depth. Little bit. MM module basically backbone of logistics that incorporates all the other SAP modules like sales and distribution, sales SD module, PP module, plant maintenance module, PS module, and warehouse module. So it's the backbone of all the modules. And SAP MM modules broadly includes following components. I have told you like procurement, inventory management, MRP like material requirement planning, batch management, valuation and account assignment, invoice verification. Fine. Now question
Nitin, we are
arises
not
like,
able to see your screen.
hello?
We are not able to see your screen.
Okay. Samir, can you please show the screen? Hello?
Now is it visible? Hello.
Hello?
Yes,
Now the screen is visible.
Yeah, Samir, can you please?
now it's visible.
Now is it visible, right?
No, I could see only
Yeah.
people who are joining. I could see only those people. I can't see your SAP screen.
Or Nitin, or Mr. Gupta, can you show your screen? Actually, some issue is there from my system.
Okay, just a second.
Just hold on for 1 or 2 minutes.
No, my camera is blocked actually, Samir.
Now it is visible. Hello. Now the slides are visible. The PPT is visible.
Yeah, yeah. Now it's visible.
Yes.
Okay. Now we can
Yeah,
start.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So now question arises, who should learn SAP MM? So answer is like anybody can learn SAP functional module, not only SAP MM. Anybody can learn SAP functional module. You don't need any specific background, no need of IT or SAP background. In OSICO, we will train from the scratch. But to learn SAP MM, if you have previous purchasing or inventory knowledge, it will be preferred. Otherwise, don't worry about it. You can learn any module. Let me tell you one thing in any software, like Nothing like software is nothing. It's all about business process. You have to map business process in a software, whether it is SAP, Oracle, or Java. First and foremost, you need to know about business process well. If you know the business process, you can map anything in your software. In school time, if you know, like we have learned trigonometry, differential, matrix, integral, but we had no idea where it will be used in your life. But the same is not in SAP. If you don't understand the business process, you cannot handle SAP. You should know about business process, and only expectation from your people to desire to learn. If you want to learn SAP MM, you can learn very easily. So any degree is not a like restriction for learning SAP, VCOM, MCOM, BCA, MCA, whatever degree you have, you can learn the SAP MM module. Next slide, please. Like in previous slide, I told you SAP MM module is integrated with all the other modules, whether it is SD, PP, FI, MM, SD. Here I am giving you one example. That all tabs should come. I explain you. Back, yeah. In orange tab, you see SD. It's a SD module, sales and distribution module. Our marketing people will look after the SD module. So suppose one customer gives you some orders, like if they give the order of laptops. Okay, they want 100. Your customer wants 100 laptops. Fine. So SD people will do what? They will see the inventory. I told you inventory comes under the MM module. So they will see how many inventory we have in your stock. Let's say we have 50 quantity of laptops in the stock. So what they will do? They will contact with PP module. See red one. They will contact the production planning module. They will tell production planning people, I need 50 laptops in a month, so that I can deliver the 50 laptops, 100 of laptops to my customer. Now PP module will do what? They will contact with the inventory module again, because they will see how many lies in our middle stock, like how much production is going to be happen. So like they say, okay, 25 laptops is going to be happen. So 50 quantity of laptops you already have in your stock, 25 in the pipeline, 25 production planning has to procure. So what they will do? They will contact with the purchasing to procure the raw material. Again, you are going to the MM module. SD module contact with inventory, PP module contact with purchasing. The inventory and purchasing both are MM module. Afterwards, what happens? Purchasing people will contact with the vendor to procure some raw material. After getting the raw material, they will do what? They will supply to the production planning. Production people will procure the production people will produce the material. Before that, they will check their machineries and all. You can see in blue icon, PM is right there. PM in right side. This is plant maintenance module. So they will check what their machineries are all are fine or not. They are capable to produce your material on time and better quality or not. Afterwards, production planning will produce the material. After producing the material go to the quality department. You can see quality module. Quality department will check the quality of the material. Here, quality module comes into the picture. After checking the quality, material will go to the inventory module. Again, in center of the slide, inventory in green tab. So all the departments, all the modules are interlinked with each other. Afterwards, what happens? You will supply the material to the customer. Customer will what? You will raise the invoice in favor of customer. So when you raising the invoice, your FICO department comes into the picture. Right? FICO will raise the invoice. Afterwards, you will get the payment. And otherwise also, when you procure the material, you have to pay the vendor. So vendor will give you the invoice, and FICO department will check the invoice and will make a payment in favor of vendor. Now in between, if you see in pink tab, HR button is there, HR tab. Suppose you receive a order of 1,000 of laptops or 2,000 laptops. That time you don't have proper manpower. So we'll check with your HR department. I need 20 manpower or 30 manpower, whatever you have to produce a material. So these are also linked with your department. So here you can see all the modules of SAP are interlinked with each other. That is why it is called integrated module. If you want to ask any question, you can ask here. Or should I move to another slide?
Yes.
Yeah. Hello? Hello? Should I move to next slide?
Yes, please.
Okay. Now we will talk about definitions in SAP MM. You have learned, you have know about client. What is client? In SAP language, we say like client is a one organization unit who has its own master data and all. But in layman language, we will say client is a customer, okay, who will give us the one contract to implement the SAP. Like Tata Steel give the one contract to IBM or TCS to implement the SAP. In that case, for TCS, Tata Steel is a client. It's a layman language, like. Or in SAP language, we will say like a client is a one organization unit that has own master data and all, or tables and all. But we are talking about in layman language. Client is a customer. In SAP, we can say that each customer maps to one client. Fine. Company code. Company code is a legal entity that is own profit loss and balance sheet. Now company code is what? Suppose Tata Steel gives you a contract to implement the SAP. In Tata Steel, you have a lot of company codes like Tata Steel, Tata Metals, Tata Tea and all. These are company codes. Now plant. Plant is a organization unit where production takes place or services takes place. Production you know very well. Services like, suppose there is one hotel industry. Hotel is not producing anything. They are providing a service. Like hospital, they are providing the services. So in for SAP, you have to create one plant for hospital or for any hotel as well. Now storage location. Storage location is a place where you keep your stock physically. If you're implementing the SAP for any service industry, then storage location is required for keeping the material. Otherwise, storage location is not required, because if you don't want to keep your stock and all, then storage location is not required. Like for banking sector, in banking sector, storage location is not required because they are not keeping any stock and all. They are keeping only currencies and all. Now, purchase organization. Purchase organization is organization unit that are responsible to procure the goods. Suppose you are working in a steel industry. The steel industry, you need some raw material, you need some consumable goods, you need some we can say like capital items also. So for each and every items cannot be procured by same group of people. One group of people responsible for stores items, one group are responsible for raw materials, one people are responsible for capital items. In such a way, you can construct your purchase organization. Or likewise, you can consider only one purchase organization also. It's not depends on the company's perspective, what they want. They want a single purchase organization, or they want multiple purchase organization. Suppose there's one company who is working in a different geographical area, India, US, UK, all. So they want 3 purchase organization, one for India, one for US, one for UK. It depends on the company to company. That's why I told you, when you know the business process, you can map it in a SAP. Now purchase group. Purchase group, we can say, is a subdivision of purchase organization. Suppose there are four people are working in the same purchase organization to procure the raw material. Okay, now these 4 people are purchase group A, B, C, D. These are the men basically who are responsible to procure the goods. Fine. Purchase organization, we can say, is like 4 group of people, and purchase group is these particular 4 people, one individual. Fine. So if you want to ask any question from the slide, you can ask, or should we move to next slide? Next slide, please. So this is basically enterprise structure. I told you client. Client is the highest organizational unit, like Tata Steel. Like Tata is a client. In Tata, you can have 2 company. One is company code 1 and company code 2, like Tata Steel, Tata Metals. Under Tata, there's 2 plant. One can be in Jamshedpur, another can be in Bangalore. Under one plant can be a 2 storage location or 3 storage location or whatever. Now you can see there is storage location 1 and storage location 2. Storage location 1 denotes like they want in storage location 1 they want to keep their raw material, and storage location 2 they want to keep their finished goods. Fine. Now under storage location you can have warehouses also. Now you can see in purple tab there is one purchase organization 1 and purchase organization 2. You can see for plant 1 purchase organization 1 is linked, and plant 2 the purchase organization 2 is linked. Now you can see in orange tab purchase group 1, purchase group 2, purchase group 3, purchase group 4. I have not assigned with anybody. Purchase group 1 is not assigned with any company code or plant. Purchase group 2 is also not assigned, but storage location assigned with the plant. You can see it. Plant is storage location assigned the plant. Obviously, which storage location is responsible to which plant. But purchase group is not responsible for any company code or plant. They are independent units. Suppose sometimes company code 1 is using purchase group 1, sometimes company code 2 is using purchase group 1. Let me tell you one example. Suppose purchase group 1 is responsible to procure the raw material for company code 1. They are having very good reputation for with a vendor. They are procuring regularly. Fine. Sometimes company code 2 asks to procure goods to purchase group 1 so that they can take the advantage of negotiation or discount and all. That's why purchase group is not assigned with any company code and plant. They are independent unit. This is the enterprise structure of SAP MM module. Client, then company code, then plant, then storage location, then warehouse, purchase organization, and purchase group. A simple organization structure. Very easy to understand. Next slide, please. Now, master data in SAP MM. There is some master data that we have to maintain in SAP, and master data is the blood of any any software. First one is material master. Material master contains information all the materials, like what would be the base unit to measure of particular material, whether we will purchase it in like metric ton or numbers or gram or kilogram. We have to define what is the base unit to measure a particular material. Likewise, who will purchase this particular material? Who will purchase? It means which purchase group is responsible to procure some particular material. That we will define in material master. Fine. What would be the price of this particular material? This particular material find in how many plants? So that sort of information we will maintain in material master. Now we come to the service master. Service master, like suppose we can go for a painting and all in our premises or like on factories, painting is going on. So we will store some information like how many square feet building we have, okay, how many cubic meter building we have, how many angles we have, how many this sort of information we will maintain in service master. Now vendor master. Vendor master contains the information like what is his name, what is the address, what is currency. Suppose if it's based on India, then currency should be INR. It's based on US, then its currency will be dollar. It's based on UK, it's currency will be pound, what is the payment terms, they will give us a credit, they will give us a check, they will give us a 60 days LC, whatever. So whatever the information, banking terms, tax details, like what is PAN number, GST number, VAT number, whatever he has, will contain the information of vendor master and SAP. Now we move to the info record. Info record contains the information about material and vendor. The particular material will be procured by how many vendors and what will be the price, whether they will give the discount and all. So whatever the information we have for a particular material vendor, we maintain an info record. Now we move to the source list. Source list contains the information of material vendor like by info record, but they have a one validity. Like from this date to this date, you can procure the material from such vendor. From this date to this date, you can procure the material of such vendor. Sometimes what happens, one vendor do not supply the good because they break down and all. So you can block the vendor. If for such period, this particular vendor will not supply the goods. That we maintain in source list. Now batch master. Batch master generally working in pharmaceutical industry, consumable industry, where we can maintain the batch and all. So in consumable goods, we maintain the batch. What is the expiry of this particular material? What is the date of this particular material? So we maintain the batch. We maintain this sort of date of manufacturing, expiration date, plant and all in batch master. In pharmaceutical, it's mandatory to maintain the batch master in SAP, so that they can keep track of expiry and all. So next slide, please. In second slide, I told you procurement to pay payment cycle in SAP MM. Here I am telling you in very familiar manner. Suppose your family asks you to procure a grocery on a particular month, on first of the month. Obviously, first of the month we procure the grocery from some stores and all. Here I am giving the example. You are procuring the inventory from online. So your family gives you a list of grocery. The list which you find from your family member is called purchase requisition in SAP terms. You will find blue tab in the left, PR, right there. It's called purchase requisition. When you get a requisition from your family to buy a grocery, it's called purchase requisition. After getting the requisition, you will do what? You will upload your list. You will maintain the list in different portal like Amazon, Flipkart, or BigBasket. In Amazon, after uploading the list, you find your total cost of the grocery will be 10,000 INR, and you will get the material after 4 days, and the payment mode is credit card. Then you go to the Flipkart, you will find 10,500 INR, but you will get the material in 2 days, and mode of payment is net banking. Then you go to the BigBasket. BigBasket say, okay, I will give you 9,500, but delivery you will find after 7 days, and payment terms is cash on delivery. So you will check like what will be the beneficial for you. This particular thing in SAP is called RFQ, request for quotation. You are giving quotation to different vendors like Amazon, Flipkart, and BigBasket. As per your convenient, you find BigBasket is better for me because delivery days is not a matter for you. So I'll find this is more cheaper than Amazon and Flipkart. So you give the order to BigBasket. This is called purchase order. Here I am telling about procurement to pay cycle. So you are procuring the goods from BigBasket. You will raise a purchase order in favor of BigBasket. After getting a list, BigBasket will supply the material. You will see good receipt. After receiving the goods, you will check the invoice. Invoice will be in your hand. You will check whatever the material I have said and that time what was the rate, is there or not, is there any discrepancy or not. After finding is good receipt is good, invoice verification is suitable, is fine, you will make the payment to BigBasket. So this is called procurement to pay cycle. Fine. Now we'll see after good receipt, you will find okay, this material I am not finding good, this is not good. So we'll do what? You will return the goods to BigBasket. So you'll do what? You will return purchase order. You will just return the material. After return purchase order, one boy will come. He will receive the goods back. Afterwards, he will raise the credit memo or whatever the amount you are returning to him. The amount will get back to you. Then they will give you an invoice for this is called payment receipt and all. You will get your payment back. So this is procurement TPA cycle. In right hand, this is MIS recent orders. If you want to check what recent orders you have done and all, then you can check portal Big Basket record of this type of reports you'll find in SAP also. If you want to check how many goods particular vendor has supplied, that you can check in SAP. Okay, you want to see particular plant has produced how many material, that you can check. If you want to check the particular vendor has supplied for how much value, that you can check. So that sort of reports you can find in SAP very well. I hope you can understand well. If you want to ask any question from this slide, you can ask me very freely. Any question you can ask me, please. Should I move to next slide?
Yes, please.
Okay. This is SAP terminology. I told you like requirement planning. You know what requirement planning? This is one requirement planning is MRP, material requirement planning. Here I am giving you one example. What is material requirement planning? Suppose you are working in a store. Okay, so some people comes to you from different department. They ask you to like for helmet for safety purpose. Suppose you have 100 of helmets. Somebody comes to you and say, I need 20 helmets. Somebody comes to you, I need 30 helmets. Somebody comes to you and say, I need 70 helmets. Now you find after 5 days, there is no helmet in your store. So this is not at all a proper requirement planning. Because after 5th day, you will find there is no helmet, then you will raise a purchase order in favor of vendor, then vendor will take 7 to 8 days to deliver the material and all. So in SAP, there is one thing, material requirement planning. What happens in this particular thing? Store people will ask in very advance to other departments how much helmet you need in a month. Somebody will say, I need 30 laptops in a month. Somebody will say, I need 40 laptops. Somebody will say, I need 60 laptops. So they will, cumulatively, we can say, we need 150 helmets in a month. So what store people will do? They will keep 150 helmets in a store, and when helmet lies some certain quantity, like when you take it 50 helmets from the store, afterwards they will run one cycle so that automatically purchase requisition will generate in the system. Store people will need not to maintain anything manually, because there is a huge organization, there are huge enterprises. They cannot maintain manually each and every items. They have to depend on the system, and system will give you the exact requirement as per each department. This is called material requirement planning. So after getting a material requirement planning, you will get a PR, then go for request for quotation. Afterwards, you will raise a purchase order in favor of vendor. Vendor will supply the good receipt. Vendor will supply the goods. Then you will post the good receipt in the system. Afterwards, some invoice will generate in system. Then you will make the payment. Then you're reporting, as I told you, for as vendor wise or material wise, whatever the reporting you want, you can get the reporting from SAP system. This is procurement to pay cycle. Next slide, please. Now, one business process comes subcontracting process. A subcontracting process, like here I'm giving you one example. Suppose you want to buy some furniture. So you go to any shopping mall or any shop, you buy a furniture and pay them, and vendor will supply the furniture to at your home. One business process also happens. You find like this particular furniture is not good. If wooden quality is not good, lamination is not good. So you'll do what? You will procure the wood, you will procure the lamination, you will procure the some other other items like nails and all, Fevicol and all, and you give this particular items to the your local carpenter, fine, and say then, okay, please prepare a furniture for me. These are my material. You are giving your material to a carpenter. A carpenter will do what? Carpenter will take the material and supply the particular furniture to you and charge some amount. This is called subcontracting process. Material belongs to you and services are provided by carpenter. In procurement to pay cycle, as I earlier told you, you go to the furniture shops and buy furniture and pay them. This is procurement simple cycle. This is also procurement to pay cycle, but you are not paying for a goods. You are paying only for services like a subcontractor. This is subcontracting cycle. You can see the slide. It's a own company. These are providing the components to a subcontractor. In first step, you see. Afterwards, your subcontractor will supply your material. You will make a good receipt. Then in last step, you can see they are your subcontractor is providing the invoice for his service charges. This is called subcontracting process. You are giving your raw material to your subcontractor vendor. A vendor is giving you the goods, ready-made goods, and charging for a services. Next slide, please. This is consignment process. This is all opposite to the subcontracting. In subcontracting, you are giving material to your subcontracting vendor, but in consignment process is somewhat different. Here I am giving you an example. Suppose you are working in a steel company. They are constructing the like a building and all. So they need steel or cement on frequent basis. So what happened? Suppose sometimes you need 50 ton of steel, sometimes you need 100 tons of steel, sometimes you need 500 bags of cement, sometimes you need 1000 bags of cement. So you have to regularly contact with your vendor. Vendor will supply the goods and take some freight charges and all, and one person will be engaging to follow up with the vendor when he will supplying the material, on regular basis, and a supplier also one official of supplier also contacting with you. So this is like a regular process. You have to contact with the supplier will contact with you. Here supplier is giving you one proposal. He is saying, why don't we keep the material at your stock, at your premises, like steel or cement? I am keep lump sum like 2000 ton of steel or 1000 ton of steel or 2000 bags of cement. I keep at your premises, and one person will from my side will appoint at your premises. Whenever you need, you take it. Whenever you need it, we can take it. Suppose I keep 1000 of steels at your premises. You need 100 of steels, you can take it. You need 200 steels, you can take it. So what are the advantage of it? Advantage of this, first is follow up. You need to follow up for each and every time. Second thing, cost saving. You need to pay freight charges every time. Third thing, time. You can easily get the material on time. You can take the other example of subcontracting pipeline. You can see sometimes BOC supply the oxygen. BOC is giving oxygen pipeline to some of the manufacturing company and implement one valve. So your oxygen is 24/7 at your doorstep. You open the valve, you take the oxygen, you close the valve, oxygen is off. So whenever you want to take the oxygen, you can take it. It's a win-win situation for both of the supplier and vendor also. So this is called consignment process. Stock is at your premises, but you need to pay immediately. When you take it, you can pay it. This is called consignment process. Next slide, please. Now third is like third-party procurement. Third-party procurement is what? Suppose you are a manufacturer of mobiles. Your vendor says, I need 10,000 mobiles in 1 month, but you don't have, and you don't have manpower or money or machinery to produce 10,000 mobiles in 1 month, but you don't want to lose the customer. So what will you do? You will say to your vendor, who is also manufacturing the mobile. He can be a competitor or he can be your vendor, whatever he is. Okay, so you will do what? You will ask him to give me some 5,000 mobiles to me. I'll keep it myself. This is called third party. You are getting the order from your customer, and you are telling to your vendor 5,000 mobile directly transferred to my customer. Third party, your customer is getting the material from your vendor. Okay, you can see here, your customer is raising a purchase order to you. You are making a sales order. After making a sales order, you are making a purchase execution. You are making a purchase execution. Afterwards, you are making a purchase order. That purchase order is giving to your vendor. Vendor is providing good to issue to direct to your customer. See here, this middle of the slide. See, good receipt. Your vendor is directly supplying to your customer. This is vendor customer relationship. This is called third party. After completing the transaction.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, can I ask one question?
Sure.
Sir, here you are telling the customer system is giving purchase order to the other company, right?
No. Here I am saying your customer is giving the purchase order to you.
Okay, and virtually we create sales order in the system, right?
Right.
It is nothing just to track like we receive the order, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Okay,
Because
there is a
ultimately you
confusion.
have to raise the invoice in favor of your customer. So until unless you don't
Yeah.
have a sales order, you can't raise the invoice.
Okay, understood, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So your customer is giving the purchase order. You raise a sales order, PR, PO. Afterwards, your vendor will supply goods to directly your customer. So after completing the transaction, you will raise one invoice to your customer, and vendor will raise an invoice to you in favor of you. You can see here in below of that slide, Myro. This is called Myro. This is called invoice verification, invoice receipt. In SAP language, it is called Myro. So this is third-party procurement. And subcontracting, consignment, third-party procurement is called special procurement in SAP. Procurement to pay is normal procurement, but these all three are special procurement. Next slide, please. You want to ask any question up to this, like special procurement, procurement to pay, master data, organization structure, whatever you have seen? Anybody? Or should I move to next slide? Okay. Now we come to the role of a SAP MM consultant. Carry option as a SAP MM consultant. Once you learn SAP MM, you need to know about what is expected from you and what you are supposed to do as a SAP MM consultant. You can get two types of jobs. One is SAP implementation consultant or as a SAP MM support consultant. Implementation, like suppose you are working in a TCS and TCS get a proposal from Pepsi or Coca-Cola, whatever it is. Since you are working as a SAP MM consultant, then TCS will send you the client place along with other consultant to implement a solution in SAP system. So we will configure, customize a SAP solution in SAP system. Once you finish the implementation, you will come back to TCS and TCS will give you another project. This is like SAP implement consultant. Here, job responsibility is really what? As a SAP implementation consultant, what will be your job responsibilities? You will organize a workshops with your user. Like you will ask how many company codes you have, how many plants you have, how many purchase organization you want to keep in your organization. You will gather the requirements from the client. Then you will say, okay, what is your existing business process, and what existing process can be mapped to the SAP. Sometimes it's not possible to convert existing process in SAP. This is called gap analysis. What is your HS process and what is to be process? Afterwards, you will make a business blueprint. In business blueprint, you will map all the business scenario in the company, how many plants you have one company, you have codes, you have purchase organization, sales organization, whatever the with other consultant also. And afterwards, you have to sign off. Business blueprint will be signed off from each side, client side as well as our side. Then you will customize after completing the business process. After signing up the business blueprint, you will customize all the things. You will create the plant in a SAP, you will create a purchase organization, you will create a storage location, you will create a material master, you will implement each and everything in SAP, whatever you have mentioned in PV. Sometimes you have to coordinate with AVEPR also. AVEPR is like one technical consultant, you can say, who will develop the report, he will make some enhancement and all. Here, I want to tell you one thing regarding AVEPR and all. Like you will act as a bridge between AVEPR and user. Sometimes user wants some reports. They want to customize some reports. That is customization. Like they want to develop some report. Like some reports are not available in standard SAP. They want to develop some report as their will. So you have to develop the report from your AVEP consultant. Fine. So you will act as like a bridge. You will get the requirement from user. Then you will explain that particular requirement to your AVEP consultant. After developing a particular report, you will check it, you will test it in development server, in testing server. After properly testing, you will hand over to your user for further testing in quality server. After finding it well, you will send it to the production server in live server. Fine. After, apart from that, you have to provide a training to the user also. Fine. Whatever the user you have in a particular company, you have to provide a training also. You have to prepare some training documents and all. You have to prepare the business flow and all. So these are the roles and responsibility as a SAP MM consultant for implementation. Fine. Now we move to the support consultant. Support consultant, like suppose you are working in a suppose let's say Tata Steel already had implemented SAP. Now they are looking after to handle day-to-day issues, requirements, user requirements. If end users having some problems like in creating PR, PO, good receipt, etc., then MM consultant will solve their issues. Like, so you can get a job as a MM support consultant. If any users having any issue in relation to procurement or inventory management, they will contact you and you have to troubleshoot them. And also, is there any configuration change also? You have to make it sure configuration also. Now, suppose Tata Steel is already working with 4 plants. Now they are coming with new plants. You have to configure the new plant in SAP system. Now they want new purchase organization. You have to configure the new purchase organization in SAP system. Here also some developments also happens. Like they want to customize new reports. They want to make some enhancement in the system so that your system will be running smoothly. So these are the roles and responsibility as a support consultant. Here you have to provide them training also. Sometimes new joinee comes into the organization. You have to provide them training and all. You have to provide some training manuals. These are the responsibility of as a support consultant. So you have 2 career options as a SAP MM implementation consultant, as a support consultant also. You want to ask any question here, you can ask. Should I move to next slide, please?
Sir, one small again question, like when they do the implementation, it is already done by the product company, right? SAP. Then how implementation consultant person works?
No,
Like
here I told you like
implementation is always
already,
done by.
yeah. If SAP is already implemented by SAP, then you have to provide a support. Okay, you will work as a support consultant. But suppose some companies is running with Oracle software. Now they want to move with SAP. Okay, and they appoint you. At that time, you have to work as a SAP implementation consultant. If company is already implemented SAP and you join the company, that time you have to work as a SAP support consultant. You have to look after issue on daily basis. Whatever the issues arising on daily basis, you have to sort it out. But some companies who are not working with SAP and want to implement SAP, then you have to work as a SAP implementation.
Okay, thank you.
Any question from? Okay, we move to the next slide. SAP job market, chances of getting a job after training. Actually, after training, we like Osigo provide you some uh, like will prepare you some for interviews. They will provide you some summer training also. They will provide you something like so that you can get job easily. Here you can see the screenshots and all. For SAP processor also job is there. For experience for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year job is there. So SAP market is very hot. You can find a job very easily. I told you in my first or second slide, you have to desire to learn SAP only. You can easily learn SAP. You can get a job in SAP very easily. See in first screenshot, SAP internship HANA MMFI web. This is for freshers. If you have a good, if you know the background, if you work with store, if you work in purchasing and all, it is beneficial for you. You will find a job very easily. And we will also prepare you for cracking the interview and all.
Sir, again one question. People
Yeah,
who have worked in manufacturing industry for around 14 to 15 years, can they switch back to SAP?
obviously. I also switched back to SAP only. I was working in a one manufacturing steel company. I switched to the SAP only. Actually, if you know the business, I told you now, if you know the business process, you can map the SAP very well. Because
But
software is
sir,
nothing.
then they will consider you as a fresher only, right? So they won't be paying like what you are earning. I mean, earned as a 15 years experience and getting into SAP. So there will be huge gap, right? Like I want to just understand the market. Like they will
Yeah,
fresher will
at
be
that,
earning only 2 to 3 lakhs, or they will be giving the 15 years experience, maybe drawing around 20 lakhs. So they will give the same 20 lakhs, or they will give only just 2 to 3 lakhs for freshers.
see, you know the business process very well. Afterwards,
Yeah.
you get the train from, you'll get the training in SAP MM module. You know the configuration and implementation and all. And your full package. You know the SAP process very well. And now, after getting a training, you will know the SAP, how plant configure, how purchase organization configure, how store location configure, how system integrates, what is the reporting and all. Then you are a complete package. Whenever you go to any places, when you know the business process, you will understand very easily you can configure the system. I told you like on first or second side, I don't remember. If you know the business process, you can easily implement the SAP. If you don't know the SAP business process, somehow it will be difficult to implement because we don't know what is plant and purchase organization, how we'll like integrate plant with purchase organization or company code with purchase organization. Then some problem will be there. But if you know the business process, you will very easily implement the SAP. You will be complete package. If you know the business process, afterwards you get a training in SAP, you are a complete package. Or sometimes the people like fresher, they know they learn SAP. They learn SAP while training in SAP will provide the some business process also. Like here, I provide the this one Amazon, Flipkart, and this big basket. So this is a business process. We provide all the business process. What is subcontracting? What is consignment? What is third party? So they will get understand about the business process along with SAP MM. You know both the things. Should we move to next slide?
Yes, sir.
So, Mr.
Here is
Gupta, I think
Osigo. Why Osigo is
uh,
better? Because we
with-
provide expert career counseling. Here, like consultants are more than 10 years of experience. They have seen the business. They have seen the big industry houses and all. They have done so many implementations. Training methodology is very good. Material you will find very good, so that you can easily understand the SAPs. We will provide your CV preparation, certification. We will help you in certification also. We will take you so many mock interviews, so that in live interviews you cannot be hiccup. Placement cells, we have a very good content with placement cells. You can take lifelong help with institutes. Like suppose after getting a placement in TCS, you want you want to learn anything new. Suppose you want to learn WM modules, you can also learn the WM module. Suppose you take a training here for MM module. After getting a job in TCS and all, after you want to learn some SD module, FIC module, that you can also ask for the such modules and all. So you can get the long-term association with us.
right. Thanks, Mr. Gupta. So, next few slides, let me take it over. How Osigo actually
Next
helps
slide,
the
please.
students. Guys, am I audible? Samiran, Mr. Gupta? Hello?
Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
audible,
absolutely.
Arindam.
Yeah. So, Mr. Gupta, let me go ahead and take the next few slides.
Fine, fine, fine.
Okay. Yeah. Samiran,
Fine.
can you go to the first slide of Osigo Learning? Yeah. So, Savita, I heard your questions. Let me answer both of your questions a bit. I think you will get a bit of clarity. First question was, as SAP as a product company is implementing the projects, how you can go ahead and work as an implementation consultant. So it's a valid question, and Mr. Gupta has already explained, but still I just wanted to add on top of that. See, SAP doesn't implement most of the implementation projects. SAP has their implementation partners. And who are these implementation partners? All big IT companies. Say TCS, IBM, Wipro, ITC, they are the implementation partners. So they go to the companies and implement the product for you. SAP doesn't go themselves and do the implementation in most of the companies, though they have some support of implementation. SAP's role ends after selling the software. Now, as a company, you will have to choose your implementation partner. That might be ENY, that might be TCS, IBM, whoever is that. As an implementation consultant, you will be getting an opportunity if you work in any of the IT companies, right? They have that implementation projects. You can work with them as an implementation consultant. Does that make sense, Savita?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Your second question was being in domain for say, 15 years or so, will you get value in IT companies?
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Sir, sorry to interrupt. Just one quick doubt in regard to the first question.
Yep.
My question was like, since SAP is implementing, okay, so before implementation, they should be knowing all the business process of that manufacturing industry,
Right.
and so they will be like, what I know, SAP is a ready-made software, so they will be knowing everything, right? So then what they implement, like they just sell the product, and then your
Correct.
these partner companies are configuring. Like I didn't
Absolutely.
understand. Like then what
Absolutely.
they do?
Absolutely. ACB has a standard product, okay? And they sell the raw product to the companies. So suppose Tata Steel tomorrow decides to go on SAP from whatever the legacy system is. Just for example, Tata Steel already having SAP. They will just purchase the software from SAP. Okay, they will evaluate the which ERP is best suited for you. SAP will come and do a demonstration. Oracle will come and do a demonstration. They will internally try to fit which which ERP product is best suited for their kind of business. Both the companies, all the ERP companies will try to convince that my product is better and my product is best suited for the scenarios you have in your organization. So if suppose finally SAP has won the deal, and the Tata Steel is convinced to take SAP as their ERP product, ERP vendor. They will purchase SAP licenses from SAP. SAP's role mostly ends over here. Now what will happen? S- Tata Steel will have to figure out, or SAP will suggest some implementation partner. That implementation partner might be TCS or IBM or Accenture or whoever is that IT company. So Tata Steel will collaborate with them. Again, there will be a kind of bidding over there. Who they will understand your business scenarios. All the companies, after you have decided you will go on SAP, all the IT companies now come and bid for that project. They will evaluate your scenarios. They will give you some questionnaires. You will have to look into that questions. You have to answer them. They will try to map the scenarios. They will try to do a effort estimate of implementation and configuration of this project. They'll come back with a proposal with the pricing. Whoever owns that deal will start implementing, will start working with your business guys. They'll understand the design entirely thoroughly, and they will implement configure SAP system as per your requirement. Make sense? Savita?
Yeah, clear. Thank you.
Okay. You're coming to your next question, being a domain consultant. Like, see, now you think of a person who is going to Tata Steel for implementation, right? A TCS or Accenture cannot send a person who doesn't have any domain experience to go to Tata Steel and speak to the top management, because in an implementation project you must speak to the top guys. They need somebody experienced enough who understands SAP as well as understand the business process thoroughly. Being from manufacturing background with having entire process knowledge, it will give a lot more advantage than a person who doesn't have any domain experience, who has just learned SAP. So it's always better. IT companies always expect the functional consultants having a domain background. But it doesn't mean that others cannot learn. But the packages, the bands which are given to the organization is based on that experience you already carry. There's a high demand of persons who are already having domain experience in manufacturing company, in sales or procurement, HR, because they know end-to-end processes in our organization, and they'll be implementing SAP in much more ease than a person who has just learned SAP and do not have any previous domain knowledge. So domain knowledge is one of the key factors, because this is business consulting. It's not that you are just creating a software of your own. You need to consult with the users. You need to give your expert opinion, and then finally your product will be configured accordingly. So domain experience is much more important, much more required, and your package will be decided based on that only, as Mr. Gupta has correctly said.
Okay, thank you very much for clarification.
uh, so with this, we'd like to go through some of the slides which explains about Oswego's offering to the students who are enrolling with us. So first of all, Samiran, can you go to the next slide? Any student who is coming to us for any inquiry for learning any of the SAP domains, we do a proper career counseling based on his previous experience, his education background, and obviously his interest area. Suppose one person is very good in coding, uh, but he has never done in a real life project. He has done some other work. So maybe he has worked in sales, but has never done coding. But though even his background is coding, but he has done sales in 5 years in a market, would never suggest him to go for a web course, but would suggest him go for sales and distribution because he has domain in that. He understands the process. So we do a proper career counseling, not via just for sales. We have all our counselors are from industry. Most of them are part of their interview panels in their organizations. They know what they expect from a candidate once they're interviewing somebody. So we do career counseling by the expert and not by just namesake counselor. So that is the first thing we do. We provide you 100% authentic, real guidance by the faculties, by the experts, so that you also get a understanding what's going to happen if you learn from us. So you will learn if you take that course with us. Next slide, please. Now the training methodology we follow, it's a proven methodology. First of all, it's all hands-on training. We'll be giving you the latest server S4 HANA 1909, which is the latest version till now available. The training will be hands-on. In the classes, we'll have theories, all the scenarios like Mr. Gupta explained today. And for each of these scenarios, you'll be given configuration document, how you need to build the system, how you need to modify the system to run these processes, and also the end user manual. Once the system is configured, how users are going to use that system. In the server, which will provide you, you can practice it 24 by 7 of your own. And anytime you get a doubt, we have WhatsApp groups dedicated for each of the modules. You can put your query in that, and somebody will. You don't need to wait for the next class to clear your doubts. Whenever faculty will get time, or some of your previous learners who has gone through that phase, who has faced that issue, is going to clarify you that. Second is experienced teachers. All our teachers are more than 10 years experience in the industry, and most of them are either from MNCs or from various large domestic organizations who has hands-on experience in their system in their respective areas. After you finish the regular training, we go through a project session. Training is one part which is important, obviously important, the core training, like say MM or SD or whatever. But after you finish your training, it doesn't end over there. You need to do a project with us, a implementation project, wherein we will give you a blueprint of a large organization, how they did their implementation. It will have end-to-end scenarios in all the areas. You will have to work with other module uh, students. If you are into MM, you will have to work with SD, you will have to work with FI, and most importantly, ABAPers, so that you understand how the real-time implementation happens, starting from preparation of a blueprint till the realization phase. In the sense, you have done all your configurations, you have written your function specification to prepare a additional report with the help of ABAPers. You and in the process you get to know the integration points between various modules, the technical aspects, how ABAPers work, and you have entire know-how of implementation project. Similarly, we take you through support process, and we'll show you a live ticketing system, how tickets come to consultant, and then how this is solved. So enter a project life cycle for implementation as well as support will show you, so that whenever you go for an interview, you don't feel that you have never worked on earlier. You will be confident enough to respond to the queries which your interviewer will ask. You'll be knowing each and everything that happens in a project. But obviously, you need to uh, dedicate the time. If we are giving 100% for you, you need to give us 200%. That commitment we require. Last important training methodology we have um, various knowledge groups. As I told you, we have various knowledge groups. We have created various WhatsApp groups wherein faculties are there. We have ex-students. We have different persons from industry, wherein you can post your queries and you'll get an answer very quickly. And this way, you get to know even after you get placed to some of the organizations, you have some queries on a specific process. You get to know the answers very quickly because others are there to support you, and you will also have to support others whenever you get some situation which you have already worked but others have not. So you'll have to, so there is a give and take policy. We support others, others support us. This way we progress. Next slide, Shaminan. Training materials, we give you 100% SAP training materials. Whatever training materials SAP follows for their training, we follow the same training materials. On top of that, we'll give you the configuration document which SAP doesn't provide. We'll give you the end user documents which SAP doesn't provide. We will give you certification dumps, interview questions, which SAP obviously doesn't provide. We'll give you the blueprint documents of real life project, multiple blueprint documents. You get understanding of how blueprints are written, how from blueprints you can create a functional specification. We'll give you formats of all different functional specifications that is possible. What As per SAP guideline, we'll teach you how to write a functional specification, and from there how developers can build the enhancements or reports or whatever development they do. So end-to-end documentation, whatever you require for your interview preparation, we provide all of them. Next slide, Shamiran. And once you complete this project work, the most important phase is your interview preparation session. So what we do, we prepare your resume based on your experience. Uh, we let you know what exactly you need to write in a CV, what interviewers expect to see. We do a professional grooming in the sense how the student is speaking in front of the interviewers, uh, the exact industry terms which we are supposed to use, so that the interviewers understand this person has actually worked on system. So we teach you that. Then we do a mock interview always happens with a different faculty than the regular faculty who have taken your classes, so that that person can identify if there is some areas where you need to focus more. Some areas might not be touched upon, or that requires better focus. We identify that and again do that sessions with you to cover up that, so that once you face the interview, you do not have much problem. But the baseline is you need to give time. You need to give enough time on learning SAP. Next slide. Placement assistance, we have a dedicated placement cell. We are part of a consulting firm called PREDA Consulting Initiative, LLP. So PREDA works with various organizations in as a staffing company. Also, we have our own projects, though the number is not much as of now, but we're trying to expand. We get a lot of requirements from our partner companies. We are their staffing partners, so we get requirements from them, as well as we get information of the requirements from various groups, from various sources of our ex-students and all. So once you are come over with the interview preparation phase, we start sending you in different organizations. Obviously, it's a both way process. Wherever you get opportunity, go for interview, discuss with us a day or two before. We'll start try to see if you're prepared for that interview or not, based on the client's requirement and on, and we'll suggest accordingly. So it's a both way effort. You'll also have to try of yourselves, and we are definitely there to support you with all the requirements we have. So that's how we try to support our students, whoever enrolls with us. Some of the companies where recently our students has got job. There's some of the logos we have given. Uh, any questions till now? Okay. Okay. So you can reach us over email enquiry@oswegolearning.com. There are two phone numbers. You can either call or WhatsApp on this number 6290639090. You reach us. Not necessarily you need to enroll with us, but if you have any doubts about SAP, any courses, uh, any area, you can anytime reach us. There is no you don't need to be hesitant that if I call them they will pressurize you for enrolling. We don't do that. It's a kind of professional knowledge sharing organization, you can say. Our course fees are very less than the other competitors in the market. We were providing SAB training, and we are always there to support you with any of your queries. Do reach out to this WhatsApp number. Somebody will call you up and will suggest you the best thing to do. If we think that somebody is doing good enough in their own domain, coming back to SAP might not help them, will not suggest them to go for SAP. We all are professionals from different industry. We all have more than 15 years of experience. From all our knowledge, we try to support our students. So you can trust us on that we'll not do a blind sales pitch to convert you as our student. Whatever queries you have regarding SAP, you can reach out to us. Okay. Any questions, anyone? So there are some chats. One second, let me go through that. Pratap Mishra has done a lot of questions. Are you collaborating directly with SAP Germany corporate? No, we are not authorized training partner of SAP. There is no relation with SAP. We do not have any relation with SAP. Selling software and configuration with organization. I don't know. These are some discrete words. I'm not able to get a meaning of this. Anyway, so any last questions from anyone? Okay, I think everyone is good. So thank you, Mr. Gupta, for your time. This was a wonderful session. I think all our participants has got a very good idea on SAP MM procurement process. And again, thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.